Something interesting about the 90s is the physiques, in my opinion, I don't say look better, but more refined, detailed.
Mm.
Those guys always came in shape, but there was less coaches back then. One mistake I always tell people when I started is I never got a coach myself to learn how to do things. I always studied and did them on my own and try to learn on my own. If I would have hired a coach when I first started bodybuilding or hired a couple of coaches that went around, I don't want to say know as much as I know now, but I would have learned it a lot faster.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Paradise Pump. And I am your host, Mark and And today, Mel's not here. She's on vacation. So we don't wait till the next episode to talk to her. But we do have our trusty co host to my left, Jedediah, or the Hodge. Hodge. It's funny. I there's a lot of people that come in this gym and I go, oh, I talk about Jed. I'll say, hey, oh, so you met Jed, and they're like, oh, I don't know who that is, and I'm like, the guy over there, and I point, and he goes, oh, you mean Hodge? No,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, Jed Hodge. They're like, oh, I don't. Oh, his name is Jed, and I'm like, yeah, they have no idea. They don't even know your first name. They literally know you as Hodge.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they think your first name is Hodge. I am assuming that they do. They probably think your first name
Yeah.
is
Probably
Hodge.
because of my Instagram name. It's
Yeah.
Hodge. And that's what everybody called me in the Navy. And that just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool name.
I like it. It's catchy.
Yeah, Hodge. I don't know why I always called you Jed. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my
Yeah.
close friends call me Jed.
Oh, I see. So there you go. Got to get in that level of
Hmm.
closeness, buddy. So yeah, I've uh I've always just been called Marcus.
Marcus.
My aunt used to call me Marcus Aurelius. When I was a kid, I had no idea. I thought she made that up, and then later I found out that that's a Roman general, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
was he a general? Or
I don't know.
was it Roman senator? I forget. Anyway, but it was a real person, so I had no idea. I was like, oh, okay, kind of cool. Anyway, so me and Jed, we always talk about old school bodybuilding. I guess you want to call it old school, like '90s bodybuilding, some '80s, and where we are. I think for us, I was competing in that era, and up until the early 2000s too, I was competing. But I think for me, I mean, I was really, involved and just really dove deep into bodybuilding in the 90s. That was when I was all about it and just learning a lot. And I want to say for me, that was the golden era, really. I mean, that was like some of the best bodybuilders ever came from that time period. And we always talk about it, that that's probably one of the best times in bodybuilding as far as the quality of physiques that were out there. And even to this day, and I think a lot of the theories, the different training theories and stuff, a lot of growth in the 90s. A lot of these things started in the 70s and 80s, but then I think the bodybuilders started to really hone in and develop some really good training in the 90s. Uh, Really good nutrition cycles. I think everything that was the time when bodybuilding just exploded and really advanced, I guess I want to say.
Something interesting about the 90s is the physiques, in my opinion, I don't say look better, but more refined, detailed.
Mm,
Those guys always came in shape, but there was less coaches back then.
right.
You
There was.
had Aceto and Nichols, and that was about it. And Amin Ali in the beginning, towards there.
Yeah, there really wasn't too many coaches. I mean, most local bodybuilders, they were doing it with their gym buddies, like me. Like, I mean, I had somebody, I had a buddy who bodybuilded, and he would look at me every week and just kind of,
Yeah.
I'd pose and he'd look at me and be like, yeah, you look good, whatever. Oh man, you got to tighten up a little bit. That's it. I mean, I had nobody like specifically coaching me. But you're right, and I don't know. I wonder if that, I don't know. I wonder, I guess my thoughts on it was because it wasn't available. And I think for the most part, a lot of bodybuilders starting out in the state level and stuff, most of those guys, they didn't have coaches. And then once you got to a national level, if you're a top competitor, USA's, nationals, like a lot of times you move to LA. A lot of these guys are moving out to LA. Some were going to New York. And then they were meeting up with some coaches out there or some other well experienced guys. And that's where they would kind of hone that physique and get
And
better.
now everybody has them. You go to a
Everybody.
national show, and these guys are coached by the same coaches that coach pro
Yeah.
level bodybuilders.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well,
It's very different from when I started studying bodybuilding. I mean, we were learning shit from the magazines and stuff.
yes.
And like you said, only the top level guys had coaches. And now you go to some regional, but mostly national level shows, and everybody's got a coach. Everybody's using the same stuff. It's like almost at a pro level, except the genetic pool is not as big at the national level because it's like college and pro.
Yeah.
Like as you move up, the tier gets smaller, right?
Yeah, totally.
But still, they all have the same resources at the national level as they do at the pro level.
And it's interesting now because you could have like one guy coaching, I don't know, say three dudes in the same weight class, same category for the same title, and same coach. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, okay, that's interesting. You guys are all competing for that title with the
yeah,
same coach. So I don't know how I feel about that because that'd be kind of rough. Like I don't know if I would want to be that. Like I don't know if I'd want to do that if as a coach want to be like, yeah, okay, I take you, and you guys are all gonna go for that same title, and I'm gonna. I mean, I guess I could, but it's kind of weird, right? Because there's got to be a little bit of bias, right?
yeah.
Like if there's three guys, as a coach, you kind of know maybe who has the edge, right? Like this guy, and so I think there's going to be a little bit of bias with okay, competitor number one. I know he's probably the guy, but you see number two and three there, and you're like, okay, maybe they might come behind, and then I can get them the next time around.
So they'll veer
Yeah.
closer to the guy number one.
Right,
Yeah,
maybe right. And then you don't want to give up number two and number three because these guys are your prospects for later, right? Or
yeah,
for the next show.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different than the way it used to be. And I guess it's cool. Like honestly, I can say looking back, if I had a coach from early on, I think it would have been very, very different for me. I mean, really, I
You know,
really think so.
one mistake I always tell people when I started is I never got a coach myself to learn how to do things. I always studied and did them on my own and try to learn on my own. If I would have hired a coach when I first started bodybuilding or hired a couple of coaches that went around, I don't want to say know as much as I know now, but I would have learned it a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
So that was definitely one of the biggest mistakes I made was not hiring a coach when I first got started.
Yeah, and so the learning curve, right? It took you, say, 5 years to learn when you could have maybe had a coach and learned in like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Like had all the knowledge dumped on you early from somebody else's experience already, except you had to go through it, make mistakes, and then learn it.
And we had here in Hawaii, we have good coaches at the local level. So, and
Mhm.
I was here. So, I mean, I had access to where I could have gotten some good knowledge if I'd have hired some
Yeah.
of them when I first started.
But what was the reason why you didn't hire? Was it
Well, I was
financial?
younger, stubborn.
Uh,
I maybe a little arrogant.
okay.
I wanted to learn the things on my own. Some things, the ways I did things, I thought were better, and it was just being young and stupid at that
Mm,
point. Now if I would get into it, and now at this age, that would be the first thing I would do is hire somebody and try to learn as much as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's see, I don't know, from the 90s era. I wonder who would you say, and it's hard to say who had a coach or not, but who would you say was the best self-taught bodybuilder? Because Ronnie had a coach, right?
Yeah.
He had Chad Nichols, right? Um,
And Cutler had a Cito.
Flex had
Flex had Nichols.
no, but he also had what's his face? Charles Glass.
It's for
He
training
trained,
wise,
yeah,
yeah.
training wise, right?
Him and Cormier, those guys
So I
did
mean,
a
they all had
bunch.
Charles Glass, yeah. So
Nichols was with
Nichols,
Nasser, Flex, and Ronnie.
I think Sean Ray didn't have a
No,
coach.
Sean Ray did on himself.
Might be one of the.
He did.
What about Kevin Levrone? Did Kevin Levrone have a
He
coach?
didn't. He had a
I
guy. I
thought he
can't
had
remember the
somebody,
dude's name,
right?
but he had a guy that trained him at the gym. He's in one of his the Maryland Muscle Machine video.
But Dorian, did Dorian have? I
Dorian
know that
had
Dorian had a training partner, but
Dorian
didn't
did it
have a
on his own.
coach.
Yeah, he did everything on
So
his
I
own.
mean, Might say Dorian and Sean,
You
man.
know, you want to know best self-taught? Probably Rich Kasperi.
Oh,
He's the
what
first
about
one that
Haney
came
though?
in shredded though, and he did a
Yeah,
lot of book nutrition, reading nutrition books and a lot of things like that.
I would give it to Rich as far as just because Rich never had the best genetics, right? He really didn't have the best. I wouldn't say he had shit genetics, but as far as just when you compare him to some of the guys in that era, his physique wasn't at that level, dude.
But the
Like
conditioning was
Mike
incredible.
Christensen, Bob Harris, Lee Haney. I mean, all these guys, crazy structures and
Yeah,
small waists. Kaspari didn't really have that, but he did, like you said, he was the guy that innovated that coming in shredded.
yeah,
He was the first dude that had shredded glutes, man. I remember that.
yeah,
That was a big deal in the magazines. I remember seeing it and being like, "Whoa, like
yeah.
what is this?" And he emphasized it, you know.
And he studied nutrition. But if you watch that, what's it called, the Going for Gold? That remember that old movie?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
talks about all the nutrition books and stuff he read to
yeah.
learn that. So he said, actually,
Flats,
one time when
flats.
I interviewed him years ago. He said he had log books, composition books of everything he
Mm.
did. And then he said his mom's house caught on fire and he lost all of it.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
But he used to have everything logged of what he did for every
Wow.
contest.
Dorian still has all his books.
Yeah.
He said he had it all. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. I mean, you can look at Arnold. I don't know. I don't know Arnold. I guess Arnold was kind of self-taught. I feel like Arnold had a lot of different people that helped him though.
Yeah.
Um, indirectly coaches and stuff, it's like kind of guiding him. So yeah, for sure, like Dorian, Sean, Rich, those guys. I mean, Haney, I don't know. I don't know if Haney did or not. Haney is one of the most underrated Olympians, though. Like he really is.
Yeah, and he was the first one to win 8 titles, but then the size and the mass after him came so far ahead that it seems
Yeah,
like people forgot
and
about
if
that
people
era.
forgot, but Haney
Yeah.
was impressive, dude. As I think his last Olympia, he was like 248 around there. I think it's about
Well, he
5'10".
finished on top. Like he
Oh
finished
yeah,
looking the best he'd ever looked. Like I think he's one of the only ones that's done that.
and dude, I think he was only like what 32,
Yeah,
33. He was
he
young,
was young
bro.
when he
He
retired.
was young. Um, but yeah, I mean, man, there was some pretty cool physiques in the late 80s that was going into the 90s, so the training styles were interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a lot to say because about being self-taught and just pushing yourself, right? Like,
Do you think if they had more knowledge on fats back then that they would have looked better? Because I watch a lot of these interviews with old school bodybuilders, and they're all protein carbs.
yeah,
And
well, I think in the 80s probably, because the 90s they started figuring it out.
there was
If
a
you look at
couple,
it,
Jean-Pierre Few and Gunther
oh
Schlierkamp, where
yeah,
they talked about they did low carb, high fat, and it would work very well for them, which was unusual when I heard it because in the 90s it was like fats off season, no fat,
mm,
prep time. And they would do higher
yeah.
carb, low fat,
Well, those diets started coming in the 90s. They started pushing those diets in the
and
90s,
then
adding in
Palumbo kind of
fat.
perfected it.
Yeah, that's when it was in the mid 90s that people were using it. So you saw different looks. Yeah, and then people coming in bigger and not as because I feel like in the 80s, honestly, I think a lot of guys could have been bigger on stage, but everybody just over dieted.
Yeah,
Everybody just really over dieted a lot. So you had guys just coming in smaller because that was the look, right? They were just like, just get as peeled as you can, as lean as you can. Even if you lose size, it doesn't matter. You need to be peeled. And so that was the thing. And then like in the 90s, Dorian was the one who kind of changed that, right?
yeah,
Because when he did, I think it was the 91 against Haney, and he came in peeled and over dieted, he said. And it was a pretty good matchup against him and Haney. And then what, like the next year, he was like 20 pounds heavier or whatever because he said he was over dieting. People thought, wow, you put on 20 pounds of muscle. No, he's like, no, I didn't. I was always big. I just over dieted. And then he figured it out. And then he's like, the next few years, he was coming in, at whatever, 250 or whatever it was, 255, instead of 230, right?
yeah,
Because that's what he was before, like 235 or
yeah,
whatever. So, and he even admits it, he was over dieting because they were trying to get as lean and shredded as possible.
yeah,
So, and that's a problem when you self coach. because you're never shredded enough.
Well, look how many times I've
Yeah.
fucked up self coaching. Like, look, remember when I did the last Sean Ray?
Yeah.
Fucking peeled. I look good. Everybody's saying I look good. That last week I tried some weird shit. Fucked it up right before I went on stage.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's the number one mistake for self-coaching
Yeah.
because you're trying to improve literally in your mind maybe 5% more, but then most of the time you either improve by 2% or you fuck it up by 5% or 10%.
Yeah.
And you're trying to squeeze out an extra 5% in your head, right? You're
Yeah.
thinking 5, which is, I mean, that's hard to do anyway. But yeah, that's where you definitely, even if you don't have a coach, to me, you need to have a pair of eyes, somebody who you trust that has been watching you and can look at you and be like, "Hey, bro, you're good."
Yeah.
Like don't freak out. I know you're gonna do some crazy shit. You're like, I got this lined up for this the last week. I'm gonna do. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, no, 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 calm down. And so I think everybody self coaches done it. I know I have.
Yeah.
I've done some stupid shit, and I was like, this is the one. This plan. It's gonna work this time
Yeah.
around. This plan's gonna be the. And I'm like, oh shit. Wake up the day of, and you're just like, fuck, didn't work out too well.
Yeah. I've done that a few times.
Yeah, dude. And then one thing I didn't know about or I didn't understand when I was younger was the stress on your body. Like I didn't understand how stress affects your body. And when you change things, right, the last week, and then it sometimes creates physical stress, right? Mental and physical stress. And then your body reacts. And then you start to look a little watery, something starts happening, and you're like, what's going on? Not realizing because you've created a little bit of stress because you've changed something. Instead of go with what's been working for you, you're in a groove and just slide in there. Once you start changing things, especially that last week, it's a little stressful
Yeah.
for your body, right? And so I've seen it, like my body, I'm like, whoa, what is happening? Like I'm all of a sudden starting to look softer, right? And then big mistake sometimes, oh, let me just take diuretics. And then now I'm flat,
They never work for me.
still
Yeah.
soft and flat. Yeah.
So one thing, a couple of things I've noticed during this process, myself and coaching others, if somebody's dieting on very, very low carbs, out of nowhere, they're not going to respond to 600 grams of carbs. Their body's just not used to taking it
Mm,
in. Now, if you spend weeks prior of deplete loading, deplete loading, deplete
hmm.
loading, then it works better.
Yeah.
Another thing, people will find, myself included, any excuse to change the foods last minute thinking it'll work better. Like they'll go from rice to potatoes or they'll be like, well, I'll just eat donuts backstage before I go out. And like, you haven't had this shit in 16 weeks and all of a sudden it's going to work. Like sometimes your body just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And it just throws it right in the skin because it's not used to taking it in.
That's true. That's true. And there's something odd about that, right? I think a lot of people, I'm even guilty of it. There's something odd that for some reason you think, oh, I'm going to change this and then this is going to happen and I'm going to be better. Like, I don't know what that is. Or maybe it's just a hope that, like all of a sudden it's going to supercharge my physique and I'm just going to be like, look so much better in the next 3 days
Yeah.
because I switched from potatoes to rice or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, big mistake with that one is like you were saying, sometimes your stomach doesn't like that. You get reactions, you get gassy, it goes through you. I mean, again, we're talking about stress on the body, right?
Yeah.
Stress on the body. And now you're going, man, what's going on? And you're flattening out. Your body's not able to retain that food or digest it very well. And then there's problems. So it's definitely not good to experiment the last few weeks. Like that's not the time to experiment. Experiment way before so you have time to mess around. As you get closer, especially like the last month, yeah, don't really experiment. I mean, sometimes you can do a little trial run, maybe with some carb loading and stuff like that, I would say. But as far as like experimenting with changing foods around and stuff, I don't know if I would do it. Because they can really mess you up for sometimes a whole week.
Yeah.
It could throw you off. And yeah, sometimes people will do the cheat, like go eat like they're dieting really good all the way the last month before the show. Man, you're shredded. You know what? Have a cheat day. Oh, what do you want me to eat? Just eat whatever you want all day. Just go for it. Oh yeah. Guys eating pizza, ice cream, freaking spaghetti, whatever. Stomach's jacked.
Yeah.
Now for the next 3, 4 days, the guy's coming in bloated, kind of swollen. Takes him sometimes. I mean, it takes him like 5 days to kind of like wring that out.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, that's kind of like, man, that's a jacked up week almost. You almost lost a whole week there.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's just like, okay, well, mentally, maybe he was satisfied, right? He felt like he got that food. But the reality is, and you know this, it doesn't matter if you have a crazy cheat day in about 3 to 4 days. It's literally like you didn't have a cheat day. You're going to be back to feeling like you did not eat for 3 months.
Yeah.
It just comes right back. So it's only satisfying for 24 to 48 hours, and then you're right back to it again. So I don't, I give my clients, well, if you want to call it, I call it a refeed, whatever. But all I do is I just have them eat more of their carbs.
Yeah.
So and then I might give them a little bit more steak. Like that's my thing. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, have double the steak today, have 12 ounces of steak instead of 6 today. And then we're going to double your carbs. You're at 200 grams, you're going to have 400-gram day of the same carbs
Yeah.
because it's good. Like it works for you. And then that's usually what I do. And that's what I do the refeeds like that. And that seems to work. I've done the high sugar refeeds, I've had those too. Um, and I mean, I think there's some benefit to it, especially if somebody's metabolism is really starting to shut down. Uh, a lot of times, usually
Yeah.
whiny clients, I'll give it to them just to kind of shut them up a little bit
Yeah.
because they're constantly complaining and crying about the diet. And I'm like, here, go have, this, and have a little bit of these sugar in there, and then it kind of calms them down, right? I'm just like, okay, but and I could, like I said, I think sometimes having some sugars, not just the carbohydrates, but sugary carbohydrates, is good, and it mentally sometimes helps people. Like, okay, I feel better, and it doesn't always harm them, depending on how far out they are. So I don't mind doing that, especially like fruits and stuff. There's certain fruits that you can have them eat
Certain
and they'll
fruits,
be
yeah,
fine.
will work.
Certain fruits are good, and it won't bother them. So yeah, uh, it's interesting, but doing everything self dieting, it's just tough because you're just mentally tired. Your brain and what they call it, prep brain, right? It's a real thing. You don't look at yourself the same way in the mirror
And you will
when
come
you're
up with
on prep.
any
Oh
excuse to
man.
justify eating something you shouldn't eat.
Dude, every time I've
Yeah.
done that, every time you find a reason. Like like I said, I've told myself, because I think that I said this in a podcast before. I've told myself, you know what? I don't look that good. I'm not doing the show, and I go cheat.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I'm like, fuck, I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
Like what was that about? That was literally me just being a bitch, just
Yeah.
wanting to eat. You know. So, um,
Well, you're
yeah,
pushing you're pushing your body to levels it's not supposed to be at.
right.
So not only is there defense mechanism in the body to keep you from hurting yourself, there's also a mental mechanism where it will start telling you things. It's like if you're on a leg press and it starts getting really rough, you will start thinking things are going to happen if you keep going. Or really, it's just a threshold you got to break to get the few extra reps in, you know.
Yeah.
And guys will rack and be like, "Yo, I thought I was like, dude, you're fine. You start getting scared. You start thinking this stuff because your body doesn't want to push past that level."
That's so true, right? Because you've had it with clients, I'm sure. They get scared in the Iraq and they're like,
Yeah,
"What are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, my knee felt weird." Or um, some people, if I'm having them do supersets with legs or something, and they're breathing really hard, and then they stop, right? I'm like,
yeah,
"How come you're stopping?" Wait, wait, I can't breathe, or I'm having a hard time with my breathing. I'm like,
yeah,
"No, you're okay.
yeah,
You're just working hard now,
yeah,
and it's uncomfortable." And like you said, they start to panic a little bit.
yeah. So like I've had one guy do that. They had told the story before. That was the guy that told him I was going to kick him out of the gym if he wrecked it early again. And he said, they're burning. I'm like, it's supposed to fucking burn. Like that's when you start counting. Those are the reps that count is when it starts burning. Like that's what
Right,
you're looking for that, and you're not dodging that in a set. That's what you're looking for. And when you hit that point, you got to see how much further you can go. That doesn't
right,
mean you stop. You know.
right. And that, that's funny. A lot of, I don't even want to say newbies because I've had some people that have been training. I mean, I guess you consider them new, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, which is somewhat new. And they would literally get upset if I had to spot them, to push them through some reps. I say I want to have them do 15 or something, and they get to 12 and they're done, they're like, they can't move. And I spot them through the last three, and then they're upset.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? Oh, I wanted to do those three on my own. And I'm like, that's fine. You got 15. Like, I helped you. I know, but I didn't do it on my own. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, that's the whole point of this training is we're trying to get you to that point to where you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
And then I have to push you through it.
Yeah.
If you do every set and you finish on your own, guess what? You're not hitting that plateau.
Yeah.
You're barely scratching the surface. You got to get to the point where you feel like you can't even move that weight. Like you're not even doing anything. And then I'm pushing you through the last
Yeah.
3, 4 reps. And then you're like, did I even do any? I'm like, yeah, you did. I just helped you out.
Yeah.
That's bodybuilding, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like I said, and I've had people that have been training for 2, 3 years and they still have a weird hang up about getting spotted.
Yeah. And I got people that are concerned with the structure of the workout versus how hard the workout should be when it's
Mm,
this exercise, that exercise, or I should do my biceps on this day. And it's like, dude, you're 140 pounds. You just started. You just need to get in there and fucking get some weight moved around with, with good form, of course, and just train hard. Like, see how your body grows on its own before you start nitpicking body parts and shit.
that's
They
so
come in,
true.
they start talking about all these complex splits. Like, dude, we just need to get in there and eat and fucking train and then learn how to train and learn how what's enough and what's not enough. And then we start seeing lagging parts and stuff. Then we start worrying about that later. Especially when you're a guy that's just getting into it or you're at the beginning level. You just need to get a basic split and then try to push as hard as you can for that and see how your body responds on its own.
That's very true. Some people are really stuck on time too. Like they come in and they think, you know, they have to be in the gym at a certain time.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't work out for 1 hour, then they didn't get the benefit, the maximum benefit.
Yeah.
And I'm just no, that's not how it works. Like especially if you're newer, sometimes new people come in, man, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, that guy's done.
Yeah.
Like I'm pushing him pretty hard. I'm training him. He's done 45 minutes. And that's it. That's all you need. You don't need it anymore. So you're good. Next time you come in, we're going to keep building you up to the next level. But don't be stuck on, I need to do 1 hour or I need to do, hour and a half. Or I think it's interesting. I don't know why people have this time thing. Like cardio, okay, fine. We do cardio for time because we're trying to burn fat, but lifting weights to try to build muscle, I don't really see that there's a set time. Dorian used to do sometimes 45-minute
Yeah.
workouts, 40-minute workouts, and the guy was jacked,
Yeah.
So it's more about intensity, how hard you push during the workout, not so much how long you're in the gym.
And rest days too. People are like, well, I like to do 7 days a week. Like, dude, if you're training 5 days a week and you want to go in on that sixth day, you did not do enough on your 5 days.
Yeah,
That's my philosophy. I like 2 days off in a row. Guys getting bigger, I like 4 day splits, honestly, because I think it works
that's
better.
that's my favorite.
And it's like if you're not tired by Friday, you did something wrong. Like you should be looking forward to those days off.
Hmm.
I honestly think.
Hmm.
But you see guys that come in every day, come in 6 days a week, come in, they're never tired. And it's like, and if that's your thing, you're just trying to maintain and screw around and be healthy. I get it. But if you're trying to grow and be a bodybuilder or an athlete, like at some point you should be like, man, I can't wait till fucking Saturday gets here. I'm gonna sleep in, eat some food. Like that should be you
Oh
should be in
yeah.
that state of mind.
I think 4 days a week is perfect,
I love
especially for
40 a week.
building, like 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off.
Yes.
That gives you a lot of time to recover, get your food in, grow, and also, to not get burned out. So when you come back in, you're fired up, you're ready to go. Even if you love the sport, everybody gets a little bit tired. You get tired of it here and there. Like I used to sometimes, there was times where I was like, oh man, I don't want to really train today.
Yeah.
There was those times. I I there was a period, there was a time where I never missed a workout. I mean, for years, I did not miss a workout. I don't know how long, probably 4 or 5 years straight. I just didn't miss workouts. But throughout those years, there was definitely times where I didn't want to go. But I think for me, keeping it 2 on, 2 off was very helpful. It really helped keep me driven. So, because I wanted to give it, like every time I went in, I wanted to give it as much as I could. If you want to say 100%, I mean, try to at
Yeah.
least try to push to that level whenever I'm in there. That was always the goal, right? Just as hard as I could go every time. Um, and yeah, 6 days a week, definitely not going to go as
I've always
hard.
went backwards. When I do 6 days, my progress goes backwards
Yeah,
all the time.
I just felt tired. And a lot of times I come in and I wasn't recovered.
Yeah.
My body just, I could feel it. Everything was kind of tight. Certain areas were tight. I'd feel it in my chest or my back, especially chest. I think for me, chest, probably chest and maybe legs took a little longer to recover. I feel
Yeah.
like on me anyway. So my chest could hurt sometimes for like almost 5, 6 days, man.
Yeah.
Really weird. Yeah. Chest, pecs. I mean, pecs, and definitely the quads too. Quads was, but I would kill quads. I mean, and I love to train legs hard. I looked forward to it. That was the one thing it kept me excited about training was leg training. Even to this day, when I start training legs hard and I start pushing it, it makes me want to I actually get excited about training again.
Yeah.
If I'm just doing upper body stuff and a little bit of legs, I'm really not that excited about working out.
Yeah.
But when I start doing legs hard, which I've been doing now the last month or so, I get kind of fired up. Like I really look forward to coming in, hitting it. There's something about it, right? Obviously, probably more hormone release and endorphins. It's a lot harder workout. You're pushing yourself higher reps too. I tend to go higher reps with those, so
Yeah.
getting more of that sensation of right of that feeling, that high, right, from working out.
And if you get through a hard leg day, you'll be fine for the other days.
Oh
So like if you get through a hard leg day and you're good, like you start looking forward to the other days because you're like, it couldn't be as bad as that.
yeah, yeah, because nothing is as hard as leg day.
When I first started training, when I was 15, I trained with this guy, older guy used to work with my dad. He picked me up, we go to the gym. I think I told the story before. And he trained for bodybuilding. And his mentality was we do legs on Monday. Like, why that? It's like because Monday's already the shittiest part of the week, so we might as well make it shittier and get legs out of the way. Because after leg day, it's fucking downhill. And we would destroy legs on Monday, and the rest of the week we train everything else. And that was his whole. I did that for years.
Mm,
It's like you're fresh. You went to work. You hate Mondays. You hate how they start. You might as well just hate it worse and do leg day. And once you get through leg day, the rest of the week it's all downhill after that.
yeah,
That's how we did it.
that's a pretty good theory. I uh I used to do there was a point where I did do legs on Monday later on, but when I was training, I've been training for a few years, probably 6, 7 years, something like that. I started doing legs on Thursday because Monday I would do back day because I always felt like my back was kind of behind. So I went a Monday back day, and then Thursday was leg day because it was after my rest day on Wednesday.
Yeah,
So I got that full rest day on
that's how I
Wednesday.
do it.
And then Thursday I could kill my legs. And so I did Thursday leg days for years.
Yeah,
But it also I had pretty good legs at
yeah,
that point. like my legs were, I put a lot of work into my legs early on. So I could kind of like, yeah, it was fine doing it on Thursday. Um, but my back, my back was, I always felt like my back was a little bit behind, you know, I needed to get that thickness.
Now, you training in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, all through there. I've noticed a trend that training styles will change according to who's Mr. Olympia. Now it's who's on Instagram and stuff. How many times have you seen not faddish, but like the training styles change through the years? Because it does. It goes through phases. Like we just got to the end of a progressive overload phase where everybody was doing that all the time. Before then it was volume. And then, during the 90s it was the 4 day split, go to failure all the time because of Dorian Yates. And
Mm.
how many times have you noticed that training styles have changed over the years while you were coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I would say almost felt like every year or every other year there was something coming out, something different. And I tried a lot of them, you
Yeah.
know, like just all kinds of stuff, right? What was it? Dog crap. Remember the dog
Yeah,
crap
yeah, yeah.
training? Dante was his name.
Yep.
Yeah, heavy duty, high volume, right? Power building was another one.
Yeah.
You had that Branch Warren style training. Those guys were like power builders, right?
Yeah.
They would do like powerlifting movements and go super heavy and even lower reps sometimes.
Yeah.
Like that style, that's definitely high risk. But yeah, I mean, I think I've seen so many different types of training. And even like full body training was a thing. God, I mean, the list goes on and on. I could sit here and just go over so many different ones, but personally, like, I think if I say what's the best or what's the worst, I think all of them have their place, and it really depends on each person. Because some people, I really believe, like some people need more recovery. Some people respond to lighter weights. I mean, if you just really put a decent weight on there and just pump it out and just really squeeze, some people get great results from that. And then I think other people need heavier weights to grow. They need that heavy resistance. And they need more recovery. And then some guys, man, some guys can do, and these are, to me, these are genetically blessed guys. This is what I think those guys should do, and they probably do it anyway, is they train as often as possible because their body recovers really fast, high volume, and they can just maximize and they just grow. And they can do that because their bodies recover so quickly. They can train each body part 2 days a week, high volume, and just grow and take 1 day off a week. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you see those guys, and you could put somebody else on it, same one. And what'll happen is sometimes they'll just get really lean and tight because they're training so hard, training so often, but they won't get that much bigger.
Yeah. I usually respond well to heavier training,
Mhm.
but then I don't know when to back off. I end up getting injured all the time. I did a progressive overload for a while, and for my legs, it was awesome. But then, got too tired, went down the wrong way on a squat, hamstring, got injured.
Yeah.
That was the end of that. I noticed guys, if they don't know when to back off and take time off, they get fatigued really quick to where, the progressive overload, there has to be periods of backing off because if not, it's going to catch up to you.
Yes.
So that was my problem with that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. There's got to be a time, and especially if you're mentally like you're mentally strong, you feel something, you don't care. It's like, it's minor. I'm gonna keep going. And that's where you can get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about earlier about some people going, oh, it feels weird. I'm gonna back off.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're like, oh, that's kind of a crutch, just what are you doing? Are you copping out? But then other times for other people, especially people who are mentally strong and they're just used to pain, they're like, nah, it's good, keep going, and then pop.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, I just busted that out. Now I'm out for 8 weeks or whatever,
Yeah.
So you have to be aware. Um, but I think the modern day bodybuilding, the probably the proven routine. And I definitely think that this is what a lot of high level guys are doing. It's definitely the controlled time under tension, controlled, a little bit of higher reps, a decent volume. I'd say a mixture of volume. And I think that that's the key is really controlling the movement, really feeling the weight, even having pauses in there so you can really the muscle can get that full load and really controlled. So that minimizes risk of injury,
Yeah.
right? Because the goal is to for bodybuilding, as body competitive bodybuilders, it's to not get injured. And I think that's for everybody. But as a bodybuilder, if you tear a pec or a bicep, I mean, that's almost a year. Like, let's just be honest. You're 6 months out of you're just gonna have to wait 6 months, then start training another 6 months to try and get back in the groove. It's gonna take a while. So if that's how you make your living, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, look at Phil Heath, for instance. I think that guy was doing those type of workouts, what I was just saying. I don't think Phil Heath really went to his maximum weight that he could have gone to, because I'm sure the guy was a lot stronger than what he was doing. But he did higher reps and controlled, and he was injury free for pretty much his whole career, other than when he got that hernia.
Hernia. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right? It wasn't even a limb; it was a hernia. So
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, the guy was injury free. I mean, Dexter too. I think Dexter trained same way, similar way, real time under tension, controlled. Tend to be higher reps. Like I say higher, meaning like 10 to 15, 10 to 20, probably in that range. And they would do those drop sets sometimes, really get the blood in there, knock out 2, 3 drop sets of like 10 to 15 reps each. So you're talking high reps
Yeah.
for one set, right? Maybe like 30 reps for one set. But really get blood volume in the muscle. And but again, we're talking about genetically blessed guys, right?
I do believe in extending the set,
Yeah.
especially if you're in a plateau. Like, let's say the set calls for 10 and you get seven, like, drop some weight and knock out four or five more. And then the next time you go back to that exercise, you might get 8 or 9 reps where you have to drop.
Yeah.
Like, ways to push past the threshold is if I'm really trying to make a difference and grow, that's how the mentality I bring into it. Okay, I did this many reps this week. The next week, if I got like two more, cool. We're not going to do anything crazy. I'm stopped. I'm good. If we didn't, we're going to drop set. We're going to push past that barrier to see if it
Hmm.
grows for the next week. That's like that with that belt squat. You know how you got that squat machine next to it?
Yeah.
I got stuck on that forever. So on my last set of belt squats, I would rack it, run right over there, and then just start pumping out as hard as I could until my legs failed. Every week I got stronger
Oh well.
because I did that. Because I was stuck at the same weight for so long, I was getting pissed off. I was like, okay, I got to find some way because I have no spotters. I can't force rep it. How do I push past this threshold? Well, let me get a similar exercise and I'll have just enough rest period moving over there and hit a different angle and just pump out a bunch of reps until I can't anymore. Just doing stuff like that is especially if you train on your own, helps a lot. And it goes back to pushing past that threshold, which a lot of these people don't like doing. Like they get mad when you say, now go over here and like, oh, I'm like, motherfucker, you're here to grow. Like
Yeah.
this is what you have to do. Especially if you're experienced. The old 8 to 10 doesn't fucking work. Your body's been doing that for 10 years.
Right.
You got to think of different shit.
Yeah, man. And I like isometric holds too, man. I
Yes.
really do. Towards the end of the set, um, sometimes I'll do a couple, maybe. I might just do like 5 of them. Let's say I'm doing a chest or something, and I'm coming up here and I'll squeeze it up here and come back down, kind of hold it right above the chest and just kind of hold it for a little bit and then come back up. I might get my last, depending on where I'm at, how I feel, anywhere from one to maybe up to five of those pauses where I'm really squeezing and holding. It feels good. Like when I'm done, that's a good burn.
We would when I have the group, we'll get on the leg press and have a guy on each side. We'll push
Yeah.
and he slowly goes back until he fails. Pick it up off of him, do it again, pick it up until he just can't even hold the weight up anymore.
Those
That's stuff you got
that's
to do.
tough. That's
That's
a
the
tough
shit you
one.
got to do.
That's the mental. That's when we break
That's
people.
why I like training groups because we can do stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think groups too. because you're in a group, nobody wants to look like a wuss, so everyone's pushing.
Yeah,
They're like, well, this guy did it, I got to do it too, you know.
yeah,
So those guys are going to push even harder, right?
yeah. It's a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I want to say group training. I mean, I've done maybe like four of us at one time. I think that's probably the biggest that I've
Yeah.
ever, maybe five. I don't know, but that's not typical. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Again, yeah, there's so many different ways of doing it, and if you're blessed with phenomenal genetics, then you're lucky, and you can get away with a lot of different things, and you can just do. I almost feel like you can do any style, and you're gonna grow.
Changing styles is important too.
Yeah.
I've
Oh
heard
yeah.
some bodybuilders that did progressive overload and then they went to volume and then they started growing again. It's not because the volume training was better, it's because they changed the different type of training they did.
Right.
And a lot of these guys on Instagram and bodybuilders, people watch what they do now and mimic it. And they don't ever ask, well, how did he get to that point he's at now? Was it
Hmm.
the shit he's doing now, or was he doing completely different training when he first started?
Right.
So that's something else people need to take into consideration when they start like idolizing some of these people on Instagram. You know,
Yeah. I try to think. I feel like a lot of the bodybuilders from the earlier years, the 80s and 90s. I feel like honestly, most of them stuck to the same training programs. They didn't deviate from it very much back then.
yeah,
I really do. I know Dorian. I mean, Dorian did his program the whole time
yeah,
until he got injured a lot. And then he had to change it up, but he realized he was so injured. He couldn't come back from it. And Ronnie was the same way. Ronnie was stubborn. Like Ronnie trained the same way all the way. And even when he was winning Olympias and he didn't have to train like that anymore, he had the physique. He still trained like that. But I don't think he could have trained any other way because that's what made him the best. You know, that was satisfying for him to train like that.
and well, you can't go off of what guys like Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman did because you're talking about the genetic elite.
Yeah.
Coleman could have done numerous types of training and probably would have looked great. So it's like, well, this is what Ronnie does. He does it all the time. Yeah, that's fucking Ronnie Coleman, dude. You're not Ronnie Coleman. That doesn't mean that if you do, that doesn't mean if you eat Casey Masterpiece on all your food, you're going to get shredded. Not going to happen.
Yeah, right. That was crazy. Casey masterpiece. Boy, high sugar. He was doing that shit at 1 a.m. too. I remember.
Yeah, I've watched all his videos. They're like
Yeah.
they're the best boring bodybuilding
Oh
videos.
my God.
The grits with like the fucking chemical slices of cheese in it with the egg whites and shit, and just eat it like I eat it out of a fucking
Yeah, he would
trough.
throw, man. Those
Yeah,
grits, that's right. That big bowl of grits. Did he put butter in it?
it was grits,
Or
that
did he put the
cheese,
spray butter or
the
something? Or
spray butter, and
cheese?
then he'd put the egg whites in there
Spray butter, yeah.
and eat that
And the
before you go work out.
grits, the grits, boy.
And he would take like 3 times the amount of the NOS pills from BSN before he would train, and like 3 times the amount of pre-workout. And you're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
But he's never had heart issues.
No,
So, I
no.
mean, all spinal, right?
But I mean,
Mhm.
30 years from now, people are still gonna be talking about that guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's ever going to be another guy that's going to match that level of intensity and yeah, I don't know.
With the size, shape, and conditioning all together, that's gonna be very hard to match that.
Yeah, and you got to give it to Coleman because that's definitely one story, a story of a man where, man, he really kept going, because he made it to IFBB drug free, right?
Yeah,
And nobody knew about him. And he was competing as a pro and he was on the circuit and he wasn't placing in the top five. And the guy was on the circuit for a little while and everybody on the circuit knew him, but he wasn't placing. And he was doing it. He was on that circuit doing it.
do the Grand Prix tours, all
And
that
yeah,
shit.
Grand Prix Tour. And it was crazy because really a lot of guys, I'm sure after a couple of years, they'd be like, well, I guess I'm just not the guy,
Yeah,
But he didn't give up. He kept going and kept going. And it just goes to show you, I mean, he persevered,
And not
dude.
only did he win, but he won an Olympia where everybody knew Flex Wheeler was going to
Yeah,
win, and
Flex was supposed to
he still
win.
beat him.
Yeah, Flex was supposed to
So it
win that.
wasn't like he shoot in when somebody was off or snuck in at the right time. Like he went up against the guy that was supposed to be the winner and beat him.
Yes, and him and Flex were good friends.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Ronnie was a real underdog in that one.
yeah.
I mean, but you know, I think that's part of the reason why he did win it. You know, that was some of the reward was the fact that the guy just never gave up, and those judges saw it, and those judges he got rewarded for it,
He
man.
worked a full time job while he did it too.
I know, full time cop, and he won the Olympia as a full time cop.
Do you think the camaraderie is worse now or better than it was in the 90s?
Well, I can't say because I mean I don't know I don't
I mean, those
really.
guys talk shit and stuff, but they also all got along, except for like
Well,
Craig Titus and King Kamali is an exception. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the 90s, I feel like the guys were a lot closer. The core guys
yeah,
anyway, because a lot of them lived in LA, a lot of them trained at Venice. There was so I feel like they were pretty close, but I can't speak for how it is now because I think people are spread all over the place right now. It's not like there's a main hub anymore. So people
yeah,
are living everywhere. So I'm sure the bodybuilders meet up at the shows and on social media. They probably, DM each other.
yeah,
So there's probably more, maybe they're communicating more often with each other because they have the access to that.
yeah,
As compared to before, it was either like a phone call, landline phone call, or you see them at a show,
yeah.
right? But if they were living in the same city, which a lot of them were, then I think a lot of guys became
There's
friends.
only a few East Coast. It was like Haney and Gasperi, and then everybody else was
Yeah.
in Venice.
Everybody was in, all the top guys were in Venice, man. A lot of them guys would move out there just for bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or, outside of Venice, even Orange County, things like that.
Vegas is
So,
becoming a big
but
hub though.
Vegas, but big, yeah, you're right. Vegas is a hub, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like, okay, I feel like the world in general is not close anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
If you just speaking about people in general, people just aren't really close anymore. Everyone's on this. Everyone's
You
on the
know,
phone.
speaking of that, this is a little sidetrack, but you guys know I went to that concert a few weekends ago, right?
Yeah.
One of the rules they had was you had to lock your phone up in a pouch when you went in. So nobody, as soon as you walk in the building, nobody has phones.
Hmm.
The first thing I noticed was when you're in line for t-shirts, you're waiting for the concert to start, everybody's talking to each other,
Hmm.
which is something I haven't experienced at a concert in a while. Everybody's in their phones, texting their friend, filming. And then when the concert started, everybody was into the concert because nobody had to worry about being filmed, nobody had to worry about getting video. And it reminded me when I used to go to concerts in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And everybody was making friends, shooting the shit. We were sitting there just talking to strangers, having a good time. And like I hope every concert from now on does that. And like I said, I think that is part of it. We have our phones, and when we get uncomfortable, don't want to talk, we hide in our phone.
That's it. I mean, there's so many times, I don't know, I'm waiting in line for something or go to the elevator and right away the person's like this
Yeah.
and they're in their phone because they're uncomfortable or they're just trying to avoid
Yeah.
eye contact, whatever it is. And yeah, I think it's a problem. I mean, the phone is an amazing device and it's awesome. I think it's a great tool that we have now, but I also think it's destroying society.
Yeah.
I really do. Especially kids. You see it in teenagers and just younger generation. The communication, they're very avoidant. They don't they don't say hi as much. Not speaking for everybody, but just a lot of people that I do notice. Just yeah, they just don't look you in the eye. Like
What does a parent do as soon as they go? They throw the iPad in front of their kid.
right. So
Even in
they're
the
so
grocery
they're
store.
trained from a young age. Just
Yeah.
get on the little pad.
Yeah.
Get on the phone. 5, 6 years old, they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Not talking to other kids.
Right.
It's weird.
So it's creating an interesting.
Creating
generation,
introverts. Introverts that are
creating
socially
creating
awkward.
introverts.
Yeah.
But what's funny is these are some of the same people that get on the computer and they're saying all kinds of crazy shit. They're
That
on there
they would
typing.
never say in person.
Never. They're typing crazy stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
And yet you try to get a high from them, and they're just like they turn away. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the same dude that
Yeah.
had some crazy comment, and then he won't even say hi to you. He's just
Yeah.
like shy. It's weird, man. It's
Yeah. That is
interesting.
true. I've heard some good stories about that.
Then we're gonna go. I'm gonna go on the other side. This is completely off bodybuilding, but I do want to bring this up. There, I noticed too. There's people that are super over emotional. They can't control their emotions, like unhinged,
Yeah.
and they think it's okay. They think they have every right to throw a temper tantrum. And I look at them like, whoa, what's going on, man? And they think it's okay. Like, I have a right to do it. Like, it's my right. And I was like, wow, these people, like, man, interesting.
Yeah.
Go watch. I mean, I love to watch these videos, the police cams.
Yeah.
Granted, they're going to show only the ones that are like exciting, right? They won't
Yeah.
show the regular everyday stops because there's probably thousands of stops in person's normal. But the ones that they do show, it's a person that just is being defiant, doesn't want to show a driver's license, fighting, arguing. Why'd I get stopped? Arguing, fighting. The cop's going to get them out, break the glass, rip them out the car. And they're just so entitled. And I know we talked about sport, but it still blows my mind how entitled they think they are. Like they really think I can just do whatever I want. Like, no, you actually can't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do whatever you want. Like there's rules. This is a society and we have rules and we have jail too. And and you could go to jail. Like you can think what you want, but guess what? You could go to jail. And then you're
Yeah.
gonna be sitting in jail wondering why am I in here? I don't belong in here. Well, too bad you're in jail now. So and maybe that's the parenting. I don't know.
And
That parenting.
also with social media and stuff, nobody really gives a fuck what you think, man. And they're not supposed to. They don't go on there to see what you're thinking. Like they want to catch up and see what's going on, but you start posting all your opinions and showing every little thing. And I was guilty of when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like I'm here, I'm there. I don't give a fuck where you're at. Just go have a good time. If like we got in this argument, it's back to the concert about, well, we can't post any videos and all this stuff. I'm like, if anybody's worried about how good the concert is, they'll buy a ticket and fucking go.
Right.
Like they'll ask about it, I'll tell them, but like you want to post all this shit every second of the concert on there. Nobody's gonna watch that shit. If they want to see the concert, they'll go to the fucking concert.
Hmm.
I mean, this you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for the world of people that don't give a shit.
Well, I think a lot of people think that people give a shit, right? They want external validation, right?
Yeah, yeah. The validation thing's big.
And they live off of that. They feed off of the external validation.
The hearts and thumbs ups currency now.
It's big time currency. Oh, and even having followers, right? Like, I mean, somebody meets somebody and how many followers you got? 100,000. Oh, 100,000. Wow.
Oh, you're so cool.
Yeah. Like people are like, oh, hey, he's got 100,000. Oh yeah. And then all of a sudden that person's like wanting to be your friend.
Yeah.
They want to get on your feed, like, yeah, hey. So anyway, it's like if he said he had 500 followers, would you want to talk to him?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably you
And
wouldn't care.
you could have any opinion you want. And because you now have access to the billions of people in the world, you can find enough people that think as stupid as you are to make you think that you're right.
Yeah.
They'll think they're right. All these people agreed with me. That's like 10,000 people out of 6 billion. Like, no, you're
Right.
stupid. You're wrong.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right because you do a reel, you get 10,000 views and maybe you get like 1,000 likes or whatever. And then you're like, yeah, I gotta, for a regular person, like 1,000 people are into it, but
Yeah.
it's like you said, 1,000 people out of how many billion
Yeah, it's
people?
like six some billion people. I don't know how many there are. There's way more. The ratio is
Yeah,
not big enough for you to be boasting about it.
it's not
You'll
much.
post your political opinion and 2,000 people like it. Okay, well there's like what 30 some million people in there. That's a
Yeah,
small amount. No one
yeah,
cares.
yeah. Nobody, yeah. And I think it's all relative, right? Because say you have 1,000 followers and you get 100 likes, it's like I'd be like, all right, 100 likes. Yeah, I did good. Because you only have 1,000
That's
followers.
10%.
That's pretty good, man. You're like, I'm pretty stoked. 100
Yeah.
people like my stuff. Right. So I don't know. I don't post that much. I
I tr
post here and there,
I
but
try to only post things that help other people or give information to other people.
mhm.
I am guilty of posting dumb shit sometimes. My Facebook, straight up shit posting. I will post
Ah,
shit that's dumb and that makes people mad or makes people laugh. I don't give a
oh, okay.
fuck. That's why I don't add everybody to my Facebook. But
Interesting.
I don't add my clients to my Facebook. But Instagram and TikTok, I try to keep it straight. Like, here's how to do this. The stuff that I know that other people are looking for to find out how to do things.
Oh, okay.
I try to post for other people. I don't try to post for myself. But sometimes I slip up. We all do. So
I mean, it's fine. There's no rules, right? Like,
no.
there's no rules to what you post. I mean, people post all kinds of crap. So it's just whatever you want to do. And again, I don't know. I don't knock some people. People want to post about their day, about they went to the beach and then they went to this restaurant, and that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's cool. It doesn't matter. I'm like, and I watch it sometimes. I watch
Yeah.
people's stories and I'm like, oh, that's cool. What did they eat? Okay, right on. So, but like you said, do people care? Most people, they don't give a shit, right?
No. We're doing
Unless
this
you're a
for
celebrity, right? If you're famous,
Oh yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
like, oh wow,
They want to be
oh
like
that's
him.
so cool. Look at where he went, or look at where she's at. Ooh, oh, she got this car, and it's like, wow, yeah. You're excited to see their new post. Oh, they got a new post. Ooh, yeah, it's fun, right? Like, so ah,
And
who
that
knows?
information is easily accessible now. Like back we were talking about in the '90s with the bodybuilder, you had to buy their DVDs and shit to find out what they
Yes,
did. So
yes.
it was a little bit more harder to get that information, which of course is going to make you want it more. Now it's you can find out what anybody's doing any time of the day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know, again, so we'll finish up here in a second, but your thoughts on the phone, right? So technology, as far as let's just stick with the phone. Do you think that it's ruining us as a society? It's destroying society, or do you think it's helping society?
Business wise, it helps. Socially, depends on how you use it. I think overuse is what's hurting society because now that's everybody's first go to.
There you go.
It's the overuse.
Addiction.
Yes.
Because I think that's one thing that people don't talk about a lot is everybody's talking about, oh, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, whatever other porn addiction, but people don't talk about phone addiction, and that's a thing. Social media addiction, right?
Yeah.
You get up, first thing you got to do is you got to check your social media. Spend a half an hour on there.
Yeah.
Sit on the toilet, half an hour on there. Going to bed, not an hour sitting in bed looking at reels, and that's some type of addiction.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? Right? You're not probably not doing anything productive. You're just looking and
It's
scrolling.
keeping you from doing productive things.
Yeah.
So,
And there's a lot of ads in there now too.
yeah, and if you put your phone down for 2 hours and don't look at it, nothing changes. Except you might get more shit done.
Mhm.
It's not the end of the world. It'll be
Yeah,
there when you pick your phone up. You don't have
it's
to feel
true.
it then.
It's true. And really the average person, you're just gonna get those, 4 or 5 DMs from your friends of like silly reels that they're sending you.
Yeah.
That's probably all you're gonna
I get tons of that
that's
shit every
wait,
day.
that's what you're gonna be missing, right? Like, okay,
Every
you
day.
put your phone down for 12 hours. That's oh, I got the same 5 people that DM me some reels. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my thoughts. I don't know. I think it's good. I think there's so much uses for the phone, but I think it is a big problem in society, and it's creating a very different society. This younger generation coming up, mm, they're going to be different. They are different, and seeing them when they're in their mid 30s and 40s, when they're the executives and they're running things, that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, well.
All these guys that are teens and even 20s, it'd be interesting. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's gonna be good or bad, but I'm just unsure how that's gonna turn out.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, right on. That was a good one. Thanks, Mel, for joining us. But by your spirit, we'll probably see her next week.
I think
And
John's gonna be here next week too.
oh yeah, John, Sailor John will be here next week. Always got his Sperry topsiders on. So thank you guys for joining us. And we will see you next week on Paradise Pump. Aloha.